Hello students, today we are going to know the chapter periodic table. Now, what is periodic table? Why do we need to study periodic table? We need to study periodic table because it is a human instinct to classify, that is to put things of one kind in one group and of another kind in another group. Towards the end of 18th and the beginning of the 19th century, more and more elements began to discovered, and their individual properties and compounds had begun to be studied. Soon the need arose for classifying them so as to make their comparative study easier. So the reason for classification of elements are: it helps in studying the elements in an organized manner. It helps in defining the relationship of one element with another. In the beginning, attempts were made by chemists to classify elements on the basis of factors such as density, malleability, ductility, etc., and also to consider whether they were metal or non-metals. But none of these early classification proved satisfactory because the number of elements falling in a particular group were so large that it did not serve the purpose of generalization. Some of the characteristics being considered varied under different conditions. Certain elements showed metallic as well as non-metallic character. Dabrunner's triads. Then J.W. Dabrunner, a German chemist, observed that certain elements displayed similar properties and that they could be placed in a groups of 3 elements each. These groups of 3 elements each were called triads. The 3 elements of a particular triad had similar chemical properties. In fact, Dabrunner was the first scientist to show the clear relationship between properties of an element and its atomic mass. The atomic mass, according to him, the atomic mass of the middle element of a triad was approximately equal to the arithmetic mean of the atomic masses of the other 2 elements of the triad. See example. If we take 3 elements, chlorine with atomic mass 35.5, bromine with atomic mass 80, and iodine with atomic mass 127, we see that atomic mass of bromine is approximately equal to the average atomic mass of chlorine and iodine. So they form a triad and their properties are same, as all are non-metal, all react with water to form acid, and all have valency 1. So these 3 are from of a triad. See another example. Lithium atomic mass 7, sodium atomic mass 23, and potassium atomic mass 39. The atomic mass of sodium is equal to the average atomic mass of lithium and potassium, and their properties are also same. All are metal. Each has an oxide that is alkaline in nature, and each has valency 1. So they also form a triad. Now see the reason for discarding the law of triad. Dabrunner failed to arrange all the then known elements in the form of triad. The law did not fully apply even within the same family. See the example. fluorine, chlorine, bromine and iodine. In case of chlorine, bromine and iodine, the atomic mass of bromine is approximately average the atomic mass of chlorine and iodine, as bromine is the middle element of chlorine and iodine. But in case of fluorine, chlorine, bromine, chlorine is the middle element. But the atomic mass of chlorine is not the same the average atomic mass of fluorine and bromine. So these three are not from that. So Döbener's law of classification of elements was not very successful, though it did contain important insights and principles. Then came Newland's law of octave. See Newland's law of octave. John Newland, a scientist and lover of music, arranged elements in ascending order of atomic mass and found that every eighth element had the properties similar to the properties of the first element. Just the eighth note of musical octave is the same as its first note. See sa, re, ga, ma, pa, dha, ni, again sa. He arranged the elements in this order. Now according to Newland's law of octave, when elements are arranged by increasing atomic mass, the properties of every eighth element starting from any element are a repetition of the properties of the starting element. See his arrangement. Sa, re, ga, ma, pa, tha, ni. Same as it. He divided the element into horizontal rows of 7 elements each. Inert gases were not known at that time. So see Newland arrangement. He arranged hydrogen, lithium, beryllium, boron, carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, then fluorine, sodium, magnesium, aluminum, silicon, phosphorus, sulfur, then chlorine, potassium, calcium, chromium, titanium, manganese, again iron, cobalt, nickel, copper and so on, all these. Now, merits of Newland classification is like that. This system worked quite well for the lighter elements. Lithium, sodium and potassium were brought together. It relates the properties of the elements to their atomic masses. For the first time, it was shown that there is a distinct periodicity in the properties of the element. Now, what is periodicity? Periodicity means the repetition of the similar physical and chemical properties after fixed interval. But this classification did not work with heavier element, that is those lying beyond calcium. As more and more elements were discovered, they could not fit into Newland's octave. Newland adjusted 2 elements, cobalt and nickel, in the same slot, and these were placed in the same column as fluorine, chlorine and bromine, which have different properties than those elements. Iron, which resembles cobalt and nickel in the properties, has been placed far away from this element. So this law is also discarded, but the Royal Society presented the Davy Medal to Newland in 1887 for his work on classification of element. Then came Mendeleev's periodic table. In 1869, Mendeleev, a Russian chemist, arranged all the 63 elements known at this time in increasing order of their atomic mass. Mendeleev's periodic table contains vertical columns called group, and there are 8 groups, group 1 to group 8. Group 1 to group 7 is divided into 2 subgroups, A and B. Inert gases were not known at that time. All the elements of a subgroup have similar properties, and so the same valency. In a period, elements gradually change from metallic to non-metallic character. He arranged all 63 elements on the basis of increasing atomic weight. Mendeleev left some gap in his periodic table. He predicted that there must be some elements which will be discovered later between aluminum and indium and silicon and tin. He named this element Eka aluminum and Eka silicon. He also predicted the properties of undiscovered element. When gallium and germanium was discovered, their properties matched with Eka aluminum and Eka silicon. But his law was also discarded because grouping of dissimilar elements such as copper and silver bear no resemblance to alkali metal like lithium, sodium and potassium, but they have been placed together in the first group. Lithium, sodium, potassium have same properties, but not same with copper and silver. And separation of similar element, gold Au and platinum Pt have similar properties, but they are placed in separate group. According to Mendeleev's periodic law, isotopes of an element must be given separate places in the periodic table. Hydrogen has 3 isotopes, but since they have defined atomic masses, but they were not assigned separate places. Again, position of hydrogen is not clear. Hydrogen is placed in group 1A, see. However, actually it resembles the alkali metals group 1A as well as the halogen group 7A. No attempts have been made to separate metals from non-metal. Also, Mendeleev's periodic table fails to explain the cause of periodicity, although according to Mendeleev periodic law, elements with higher atomic mass should follow the element with lower atomic mass, but tellurium T resembles oxygen and sulfur, and selenium Se and iodine resembles with fluorine, chlorine and bromine. Therefore, tellurium atomic mass 127 should be placed after iodine, as iodine atomic mass 126, but actually iodine is placed after tellurium. For all this, Mendeleev's periodic law was discarded. In order to, and Mendeleev periodic law is like that, physical and chemical properties of element are a periodic function of their atomic masses. In order to explain drawbacks in Mendeleev's periodic table, 2 possibilities strike our mind. Perhaps the arrangement of Mendeleev's periodic table is not satisfactory one, or perhaps the atomic mass is not a fundamental property upon which this table was based. Then Henry Moseley in 1912 bombarded different elements with cathode rays and obtained X-ray of different frequencies from different elements. He plotted square root of their frequencies against atomic number. The curve obtained was a straight line. See this curve? Thus, atomic number is proportional to the square root of frequency of X-rays. This showed clearly that there is a definite relationship between the frequency of X-rays and atomic numbers. Since the frequency of X-rays emitted by each element depends on the internal structure of the atom, the atomic number and not the atomic weight is the fundamental property of an atom. Consequently, the periodic law was modified and justified. It can be justified in this way. As we know, an atom contains nucleus which contains proton and neutron surrounded by electrons. Atomic mass is a nuclear property and depends upon the number of proton and neutron in the nucleus, whereas atomic number is equal to the number of electrons in the extranuclear part of the atom or the number of protons in the nucleus. Now, the chemical properties of an element depend upon the interaction between the atom and the reagent. Nucleus being deep-seated and shielded by electrons in the extranuclear part has negligible interaction with the reagent. Therefore, atomic mass has little effect on the chemical properties of the element. Electrons, however, are exposed to the environment and hence effectively interact with the reagent. Hence, the physical and chemical properties of element depends upon their atomic numbers rather than atomic masses. So, according to modern periodic law, the physical and chemical properties of element are the periodic function of their atomic numbers. That is, when elements are arranged in the increasing order of their atomic number, similar elements are repeated after regular intervals. Now, see structural features of periodic table. The table has the following features. All the elements have been arranged in the increasing order of atomic numbers. Elements with similar electronic configuration have similar properties and hence have been placed together at one place. Elements with different electronic configuration have different properties and hence have been placed as at defined place in the periodic table. The periodic table consists of 7 horizontal rows called periods and 18 vertical columns called groups or families, and there are 4 blocks. See the periodic chart of the element. This is a modern periodic table. The horizontal rows from left to right Now see the periodic chart of the element. This is modern periodic table. The horizontal rows from left to right in the periodic table are called periods. There are seven periods in all. First, second and third periods are called short period. The first period contains contains only two elements, hydrogen and helium, with atomic number 1 and atomic number 2. It is the shortest period. This period corresponds to the first main energy level, whose capacity is only of 2 electrons. Hence, only two defined elements in which 1 and 2 electrons are present in the first energy level are possible. Second and third periods contain 8 elements with atomic number 3 to 10 in the second period and atomic number 11 to 18 in the third period. These are short period. Now, fourth and fifth period contains 18 elements with atomic number 19 to 36 in the fourth period and 37 to 54 in the fifth period. These are long period. Now, sixth period contains 32 elements, atomic number 55 to 86. It is the longest period. And the seventh period also contains 32 elements. It is also longest period. Atomic number 87 to 118. These elements are radioactive. Up to uranium 92 atomic number, the elements are naturally occurring and the remaining are artificially prepared. Hence, the elements having atomic number higher than 92 are known as synthetic elements. Now, group. Vertical columns in the periodic table starting from top to bottom are called group or families. The modern periodic table has 18 vertical columns comprising to group 1 to group 7 and 0. Group 1 to group 7 are divided into subgroups, thereby making the total 18 groups. Elements belonging to the same group are said to constitute a family. Group 1 to group 1, 2, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 are known as main group element or representative element or the normal elements. Because the electrons in their valency shell are filled in accordance with the normal rules for filling the electrons in the orbital, and these elements have their outermost shell incomplete. Group 3 to group 12 are known as transition element. They have their two outermost shell incomplete. These are so named because their properties separate a transition means change from highly reactive metals on the left hand side to non-metal on the right hand side. The lanthanide and actinide, which from part of group 3, are called inner transition element because these constitute a series within the transition element. Now see group 1. This is alkali metal from strong alkali with water except hydrogen. All elements in group 1 have valency 1, as according to electronic configuration, one electron present in their valency or outermost shell. So to acquire stable electronic configuration, they lose one electron and acquire the configuration of nearest noble gas. Hydrogen, lithium, sodium, potassium, rubidium, cesium, francium, these are belongs to group 1. Now group 2, alkaline earth metal from weaker alkali metal. Element present in group 2 have valency 2. According to electronic configuration, they have 2 electrons in their outermost shell. So to acquire stability, they lost 2 electrons. So valency 2. Beryllium, magnesium, calcium, strontium, barium, radium are belongs to group 2. Now see group 13. Boron family. Boron is the first member of group 13. Group 13 elements have 3 electrons in their valency shell. So to acquire stability, they lost 3 electrons. For this, their valency plus 3. Boron, aluminium, gallium, boron, aluminium, gallium, indium, thallium, niobium are belongs to this group. Now group 14. This is carbon family. Carbon being the first member. All the elements in group 14 have 4 electrons in the outermost shell. The valency of group 14 elements is 4. They use these electrons in the bond formation in order to obtain octet configuration. Carbon, silicon, germanium, tin, lead, fluorium are belongs to group 14. Now group 15. Nitrogen family. Nitrogen being the first member of the element in group 15 have 5 electrons in the outermost shell. So to acquire octet configuration, they need 3 electrons, and so their valency -3. Nitrogen, phosphorus, arsenic, antimony, bismuth, moscovium belongs to this group, means group 15. Now group 16, oxygen family. Oxygen being the first member, all the elements in group 16 have 6 electrons in the outermost shell. So to acquire octet configuration, they need 2 electrons. So their valency -2. Oxygen, sulfur, selenium, tellurium, polonium and liveronium are belongs to group 16. Then group 17, halogen family, means salt former. All elements in group 17 have 7 electrons in the outermost shell. So to acquire octet configuration, they need 1 electrons. So their valency -1. Fluorine, chlorine, bromine, iodine, astatine and tennessine are belongs to this group. Then group 18, zero group, and known as inert gas or noble gases. They have 8 electrons in their outermost shell, except helium, which have 2 electrons. They do not react with other elements. Helium, neon, argon, krypton, xenon, radon and magnesium are belongs to this group. Now S, D and F blocks elements are metal, and P block has non-metal and metalloid. More than 78% of known elements are metal. Now group 3 to 12 block elements are called transition element. All are metals with 2 outermost shell are incomplete. They have high melting and boiling points, and they are good conductor of heat and electricity. Some of these elements are attracted towards a magnet. Most of these elements exhibit variable valencies. Most of these used as a catalyst. Scandium, titanium, vanadium, chromium, manganese, iron, all these are belongs to this 3 to 12, means D block elements. And A block elements are part of group 3 elements, are called inner transition element. They are heavy metals with high melting and boiling point. They show variable valencies. They form colored ions. Actinides are radioactive in nature. In these elements, 3 outermost shell are incomplete. These elements generally have the same number of electrons in the last 2 cells. These properties of this element are so close to each other that it is not easy to separate the lanthanide from one another. Now, H block elements are soft metal having low melting and boiling point, and they have low ionization energy. They are highly reactive and readily form univalent and bivalent positive ions by losing valence electrons. In the molten state or solution state, S block elements are good conductor of heat and electricity. Cations of S block elements are dimagnetic, means not attracted by magnet. Their hydroxide are strong base. Group 1 and group 2 are S block element. Next, P block. This block is situated on the right hand side of the periodic table. They contains 30 elements in 6 groups, means group 13 to group 18, except helium. They include both metal and non-metals. But there is a regular gradation from metallic to non-metallic character as we move from left to right. They have quite high ionization energies. Generally, P block elements form mostly covalent compound. P block elements are generally bad conductor of heat and electricity, except those which are metals. Some heavier elements like tin and lead exhibits variable valencies. Group 1, the alkali metal are most reactive metal, and group 17, halogen are most reactive non-metal along all the group. Group 17 are exist in all 3 states, solid, liquid and gas. Now see the number 2, 8, 8, 18, 18, 32, 32. These are the number of elements present in all 7 periods. In first period, there are 2 elements. In second period, there are second and third period, there are 8 elements. In fourth and fifth period, there are 18 elements, and sixth and seventh period, there are 32 elements. These numbers are also called magic number. As in case of S block element, if we add 2 with hydrogen, we get the atomic number of lithium. And if we add 8 with lithium and beryllium, we get the atomic number of sodium and magnesium. Again, if we add 8 with sodium and magnesium, we get the atomic number of fourth period element potassium and calcium. If we add 18 with potassium and calcium, we get the atomic number of fifth period element rubidium and strontium. Again, if we add 18 with rubidium and strontium, we get the sixth period element cesium and barium. If we add 32 with cesium and barium, we get the seventh period element francium and radium. From this calculation, we get the atomic number of any S block element. Similarly, in case of P block element, P block element belongs to second to seventh period, except helium it is first period element. As we follow the tricks to calculate atomic number as 8, 18, 18, 32, 32. From second period to third period, we add 8, then 18 from third to fourth period, also 18 from fourth to fifth period, and last 32 from fifth to sixth period, and 32 from sixth to seventh period. Now, in case of D block element, they belong from third period to seventh period. So here we follow 18, 18, 32, 32. So if we remember only this number, we can calculate atomic number of any element. Also, we should remember another thing, that atomic number of 57 to 71 and 89 to 103 are group 3 element. Now, I hope you have no problem about this periodic chart. In my next video, I will discuss about the properties of elements. Thank you.